Hello everyone, welcome to week 2 of Tuesdays Tapping at 2 for animal rescuers and advocates. This week we are going to focus on the pain that goes along with rescue and animal activism, and it's such a broad topic and it's vast, but if there's one thing I know about every animal activist and every rescuer out there is that we are going through a lot of pain. Focused around the animals, not being able to save the animals, having to watch them go to their deaths. It's incredibly devastating. So let's get started. I'm Tamira Thayne. I'm the founder of Who Chains You Publishing and Spiritual Mentoring, and the author of Foster Doggy Insanity and Capital in Chains. Let's talk real briefly about tapping again. Tapping uses the meridians of the body, and by tapping on certain points, the theory is that it releases some of the emotional blockages that are stuck in us. And I will post a link to where you can learn more about tapping, but this is going to be a 15-minute tapping exercise for all of us, and let's get to it. So we're going to first tap on the edge of our hand and just do a general tap about pain. Even though I have so much pain related to my love for the animals, I deeply love and accept myself. Do this 3 times. Even though I have so much pain related to my love of the animals, I deeply love and accept myself. And even though I have so much pain related to my love for the animals, I deeply love and accept myself. And we tap on the top of the head. I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. Right here, I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. On your collarbones right here, I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. And then under the armpits, I have so much pain related to my love for the animals. So when you sigh like that, when you give a deep sigh, basically you're releasing some of that emotion. And this certainly isn't going to take away the animal's pain or even your pain, but if you keep doing it, you can rid yourself of some of that emotional baggage that you're carrying around with you. So let's talk about the pain of rescue. There's so much when you rescue an animal. There can be so many things go wrong. The animal could be deathly ill, it could be starving, it could end up dying even though you've done your best, and this brings on so much pain and guilt for the rescuer. Even though you know that you've done your best, there's still all this pain associated with it, especially when you don't get to see that happy ending that we also want in rescue. So let's do some tapping on that. Even though I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued, and you can modify my words to fit yours. I'm doing a very generic thing to cover everybody's animal. I don't want to say dog or cat or whatever, but feel free to substitute whatever animal has caused you lingering grief and pain. Even though I have so much pain over this I rescued and lost, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost, I deeply love and accept myself. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. I have so much pain over this animal that I rescued and lost. The biggest thing we suffer when we when we lose an animal that we've rescued is guilt. We berate ourselves, and there are times that guilt is needed, but for most rescuers, it's not the case. Even if we've made a mistake and it's resulted in a death, 9 times out of 10, the rescuer is doing his or her very best for the animal, and so the guilt is so hard to release, but it's really necessary that we release this guilt, and one of the ways can be through tapping, and you can continue these exercises every day. So let's go with the guilt. Even though I feel so much guilt over what happened to the animal I rescued, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have so much guilt over what happened to the animal that I rescued, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued, I deeply love and accept myself. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. I have so much guilt over this animal that I rescued. So, for those who aren't in rescue, for those who are animal activists, and I know I have friends with some animal activists that are on the front lines week by week out there protesting pigs, the death of pigs, the death of chickens. And these are people who have to look in the eyes of these animals as they're going to slaughter and know that there's nothing that they can do other than what they're doing to end that pain. And they are left with so much guilt, like it's never enough, even though they're witnessing and they're bringing that to the eyes of the world. There's a lot of pain in knowing that it's not enough. And so that's a lot of tapping. That's a lot of pain. And let's just start on that a little bit. And then feel free to work on this more on your own. And come to me if you have any. I do offer one-on-one sessions. I can give a link to that. And then if you can work on it yourself, that's what I love about tapping. You can do it yourself. So let's do a tapping on the pain that is suffered by animal activists who can't change the outcome. Even though these animals are still going to die, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die, I deeply love and accept myself. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. I feel so much pain because these animals are still going to die. Let's do a tapping on the helplessness that is engendered by both rescuers. For many times for me as a chain dog activist, there were so many dogs, and there's still dogs today that I see in my county that I've talked to the people and I've gotten nowhere, and there's nothing I can legally do to help that dog. And it's very distressing when I have to drive by these dogs. And so I know for many rescuers, excuse me, and activists, we feel helpless. We feel helpless to be able to do more for these animals, and it's a hard feeling to live with. And I think that we can be better activists if we are able to release some of these negative emotions and continue to release them on a daily or weekly basis as they're coming up, so that you can engage more positively and make positive change because you've unburdened some of this pain. So let's go into the helplessness. Even though I feel very helpless to rescue this animal, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel very helpless to rescue this animal, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel very helpless to rescue this animal, I deeply love and accept myself. I feel very helpless to rescue this animal. 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 Let's just do one more tapping for this week about forgiveness, because it kind of goes in the path of how we forgive ourselves um, when we lose an animal, or when we're not able to help an animal. Even though I have a hard time forgiving myself, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have a hard time forgiving myself, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have a hard time forgiving myself, I deeply love and accept myself. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I cannot rescue an animal. I have a hard time forgiving myself when I can't rescue an animal. I have a hard time rescue an animal. So that will conclude the tapping portion of today. But remember, every time after you tap, we release some negative emotions and some negative energy. So we want to bring some positive back into our life. One of the things I recommend is a gratitude journal, just saying something like, I'm very grateful for all the animals that I have rescued because they bring me happiness. So do that every day. One thing I like to do is to picture that my heart chakra is open, and it's open to receiving all the bounty of the universe for me and others. Last week we focused on accepting that for ourselves, but today we could focus on accepting that for the animals because we know that they need us. So just try to open your heart to the best that you can and just say, I accept and affirm all the good of the universe for the animals coming into my heart and through me. And do this every day. That's going to be your goal for the week, is to tap on all the animals you've tried to help and were not successful, and that guilt and pain that comes along with that. Before I go, I thought I would read an excerpt from my book, Foster Doggy Insanity. This is available in paperback and Kindle from Amazon. Foster Doggy Insanity, Tips and Tales to Keep Your Cool as a Doggy Foster Parent. And in this book, I go into a lot of the emotional pain that comes with animal rescue. So chapter 20, I'm going to read an excerpt from. Stop beating yourself up. Guilt gets you nowhere fast. Truth. Most of us, whereupon screwing up, feel guilty and wallow around in that guilt for days, weeks, months. We can't move forward while stuck in guilt. Give it up. Use tapping. You must let go of feeling bad about yourself for a faulty decision you may have made. As long as your intentions were pure and you've learned as a result of this action, please try to let it go in order to continue your mission. Repeat after me. I harbor only good intentions for my foster dogs. Even though I sometimes make mistakes, I know I never intended to cause harm. I learn from my actions and continue moving forward in a positive direction. We all screw up. I could spend the rest of this book listing my missteps with foster dogs, some of which have had serious consequences. And some of them, like Banshee and the ibuprofen, have been extremely hard to let go of my guilt over. The Banshee story is in this book if you want to know what I'm talking about there. In fact, if Banshee hadn't survived, I'm pretty sure I'd still be hanging on to that guilt despite my best advice to you, my advice to both of us right here on this page. But I know it wouldn't be healthy, and it wouldn't help me love myself or my other foster dogs. It wouldn't bring Banshee back. Without the ability to love ourselves, we cannot truly give love to others, no matter whether they be dogs, people, other animals. And we can't love ourselves or anyone else when we're dragging around a boatload of guilt and shame. I know that Banshee's angel self, if he had lost his life, would have forgiven me, knowing I never meant to cause him harm. He would have taken those couple months and all that love and joy he received over never having been given a chance at a real life, but we're still living stuck out on that chain. So that book is Foster Doggy Insanity, available on Amazon and in Kindle. All right, great. I will see you next Tuesday for more Tapping Tuesdays at 2 for animal rescuers and activists. Bye.